Let me tell you something. I don't know what knocked you down. I don't know if it was failure, if it was heartbreak, depression, injury, or betrayal. I don't know. But here's what I do know. The comeback is always stronger than the setback. See, when you hit rock bottom, that's not the end. That's the beginning. Because when you're down there, you don't have to guess who's with you, who's real, and what you're made of. The setback reveals you. Comeback builds you. To me, pain is not punishment. It's preparation. That setback you went through, that wasn't to break you. It was to shape you. It was training for your testimony, training for your next level. But you have to stop crying about what happened and start training for what's coming. You see me now, but you don't know what I had to go through to get here. You see the grind, the glory, but not the grit. The nights I wanted to quit, the times I failed, the doors that closed. But I made a decision. I'm not staying down. I'm getting back up, stronger, wiser, better. Every setback is a setup for a greater comeback. If you don't quit, winners aren't the people who never fall. They're the people who fall 7 times and get up 8. They rise not because it's easy, but because they refuse to stay where they are. You say you're tired? Good. That means you're fighting. That means you're growing. That means you're still in the ring. Don't you dare throw in the towel now. You're closer than you think. This pain has purpose. This struggle has meaning. Your future deserves your fight. So stand up, wipe your face, lock in, because the setback was a chapter, not the whole book. Now it's comeback season. You thought it was over, didn't you? You got hit, knocked down. Things didn't go the way you planned. And now you're sitting there thinking, maybe you weren't made for this. Maybe the dream was too big. Maybe you're not smart enough, talented enough, strong enough. But let me tell you something right now. That setback you're facing, it's not the end. It's not even a problem. It's the beginning. It's the setup for the next level of your life. Every champion, every giant, every legend you've ever admired has one thing in common. They face a setback. Some of them lost everything. Some of them were laughed at, ignored, counted out. Well, what made them great wasn't what happened to them. What made them great was what they did after. They saw the setback, and instead of giving up, they saw the opportunity buried inside the pain. They turned that loss into leverage. You see, the setback is just part of the process. It's a part of the recipe. You want greatness without struggle? You want success without sacrifice? You want the platform without the process? It doesn't work like that. There is no mountaintop without the climb. There is no light without the dark. That pain you're going through is necessary. It's not a punishment. It's preparation. The setback is life's way of asking you, how bad do you want it? When you fail, and you will fail, you get to make a choice. You can quit or you can learn. You can walk away or you can level up. And if you're real, if your purpose means anything to you, if your why is deeper than your excuse, then you'll take that setback and say, all right, now I know where I need to grow. Now I know what I need to fix. Now I know how to come back smarter, stronger, and more focused than ever. The problem is most people get hit once and they fold, they run, they cry, they doubt. But the ones who win, they don't fold, they flip the script. They take the same pain that was meant to break them and use it to build themselves. They get back in the lab. They train harder. They focus deeper. They double their discipline. That's the difference. It's not talent. It's not money. It's not luck. It's my luck. It's mine. It's the refusal to let the setback be the end of the story. You know why setbacks hurt so much? Because they expose something. They expose the weak parts. They show you where you're soft, where you weren't ready, where you cut corners. That's why they're so painful, because they're real. Because they're real. And real is uncomfortable. But real also creates growth. When you can look at your setback in the face and say, thank you, I needed that. That's when you're dangerous. That's when you're unstoppable. Because now you're not just motivated, you're built. There's something powerful about losing and still choosing to believe. Still choosing to fight. Still choosing to show up when nothing around you says it's worth it. That kind of grit, that kind of heart, or you don't buy that. You don't buy it in a book. That's earned through pain. That's earned through setbacks. And when you've earned it, nobody can take it from you. So don't look at the setback like it's some sort of curse. Look at it like a mirror. What is it showing you? What does it want you to fix? Maybe your habits were off. Maybe your priorities were out of line. Maybe you were rushing something that needed patience. Maybe you were trying to skip levels and life had to slow you down. That's not failure. That's feedback. That's life coaching you. And you better pay attention. Most people lose because they think it's supposed to be easy. They think it's supposed to be fast. But nothing real is built overnight. Every real dream requires pressure. Every purpose goes through fire. That setback is the fire, and how you respond will determine whether you melt or come out like gold. When you finally get to where you're going, when you finally see the reward, the victory, the platform, you're gonna look back and say, at that moment right there, the one that almost broke me, that was the turning point. The setback wasn't a detour. It was a shortcut in disguise. It was the thing that gave you what the easy road never could. Toughness, experience, clarity, humility, hunger. So don't fear the setback. Don't run from it. Don't cry over it. Embrace it. Take it and then get up. Get focused and get moving. Because if you play it right, if you don't quit, that setback is about to set you up for something greater than you imagined. You think pain is the enemy. You think that just because it hurts, it's wrong. That because it burns, you need to back off. But let me tell you something. Pain isn't the enemy. Pain is the process. Pain is the trainer. Pain is what life uses to build people who are ready for greatness. Nothing you want is on the other side of comfort. It's all on the other side of pain. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to shine, but nobody wants to go through what it takes to get there. You want the prize without the process, the platform without the preparation, the dream without the discipline. But life doesn't work like that. You don't just wish for greatness. You grind for it. You fight for it. You suffer for it. You suffer for it. And that's suffering. That's not punishment. That's preparation. See, pain teaches you what comfort never could. Pain wakes you up. Pain exposes your weaknesses. When you're going through it, when you feel like everything is falling apart, that's when you get real. That's when your fake friends disappear. That's when your excuses fall flat. That's when the truth shows up. Pain pulls the truth out of you. And if you're willing to listen, if you're humble enough to learn, it will grow you in ways you never imagined. You don't become strong by avoiding the weight. You get strong by lifting it. You don't grow by hiding from the fight. You grow by walking into it. Every time you push through pain, you get sharper, you get harder to break, you get more focused, you stop caring about what's easy, and you start chasing what's necessary. Because greatness doesn't come through convenience, it comes through commitment, and pain is what tests that commitment. Pain is like a mirror. When you're in it, you see who you really are, not who you're supposed to be, not who you pretend to be, not who they think you are. You see your limits, you see your breaking point. And then, if you got heart, if you got purpose, you push past it, you stretch, you reach, you adapt, and you grow. That's preparation. That's pain doing its job. You want to quit when it hurts. You want to take a break. You want to walk away, but I'm telling you, the breakthrough is in the pain, the version of you that's living your dream. That version is born through the fire. That version doesn't exist yet. Pain is creating it. That version doesn't just show up. It's being forged. Every tear, every loss, every disappointment, every moment you felt like you had nothing left. That's the construction side of your future. When life hurts, it's not trying to kill you, it's trying to wake you up. It's trying to get you to pay attention, because the only way to elevate is to evolve. And evolution hurts. Growth hurts. Changing your habits hurts. Turning off distractions hurts. Leaving the old you behind hurts. But guess what hurts more? Regret. Settling. Waking up 5 years from now knowing you had the chance but didn't take it because you were scared of pain. You're not in pain because you're weak. You're in pain because you're growing. That's what growth feels like. It's tight. It's uncomfortable. Oh, it's lonely, but it's necessary. You can't step into who you're meant to be while holding on to who you were. Something has to die for something greater to live. That's why it hurts. But don't you dare mistake that pain for punishment. That's God, that's life, that's purpose preparing you. Preparation doesn't feel good. It feels heavy. Preparation feels slow. But when the moment comes, when the door opens, the ones who already walked through it, the ones who let pain train them, who didn't run when it got tough, who stayed in the fire, those are the ones who shine when the lights come on. That's why you have to go through it now. So when it's time to show up, you don't flinch, you don't fold, you execute. Too many of you are running from the very thing that's building you. You're asking for a way out when you should be asking for the strength to go deeper. You keep looking for shortcuts when you should be looking for more reps. The pain is there to make sure you don't step into something too big before you're ready. It's not keeping you from success. It's qualifying you for it. So the next time you feel that burn, that exhaustion, that frustration, don't panic. Don't run. Lean in. Let it do its work. Let it teach you. Let it train you. Because when you come out the other side, you won't just be stronger. You'll be prepared. You'll be ready to carry the weight of the blessing you've been asking for. And you'll look back and realize the pain wasn't the problem. It was the preparation for the promise. People think that the most successful individuals are the ones who never fall. They think success is about getting it perfect the first time, about never messing up, never making mistakes. But let me set the record straight. Success is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about getting knocked down and choosing to stand back up every single time. That's what separates the greats from the average. That's what turns potential into power. The ones who make it are the ones who fall 7 times and rise 8. See, the fall is inevitable. Life is going to hit you. Not maybe guaranteed. You're going to trip, you're going to stumble, you're going to fail. And sometimes it's not even your fault. Life just swing. Maybe someone betrays you. Maybe you lose the job. Maybe your body gives out. Maybe your body gives out. Maybe you don't get the opportunity you worked your whole life for. And in that moment, you're flat on your back and you're hurting. But that's not where your story ends. It's where it starts. The fall doesn't define you. The fall is just a test. The rise, that's what defines you. That's what builds your legacy. Anybody can win when they're on top. Anybody can smile when everything's going right. But who are you when nothing's going your way? Who are you when you lose? Who are you when life hits you with that left hook you never saw coming? I see too many people stay down. They take one hit and they think it's over. They mess up once and they start telling themselves lies. Or maybe I'm not good enough. Or maybe this just isn't for me. No, you got it twisted. That fall didn't disqualify you. It qualified you. The fall is proof that you're in the fight. It's proof that you're alive. And if you're still breathing, then you still got another round in you. Every great person you admire got knocked down. Every single one. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah got told she wasn't fit for television. Steve Jobs got fired from the company he started. Eric Thomas, homeless, high school dropout, sleeping in abandoned buildings. But guess what? They got up. They didn't stay down. They didn't let that one moment stop their movement. They understood the secret. Falling doesn't mean failure unless you stay there. And sometimes the fall is deep. Sometimes it shakes you to your core. You lose your confidence. You lose your vision. You feel like you're in a dark hole and no one's coming to save you. But that's when the real decision has to be made. Do you believe in your dream enough to get back up when everything in you says to stay down? That's where champions are made. In the dirt, in the struggle, in the silence, not on the stage, in the fight. What you have to understand is every time you rise, you become stronger. Every comeback makes you tougher. Every time you wipe the blood off your face and say, let's go again, you gain power. And eventually, those hits don't stop you anymore. They fuel you. You stop fearing failure. You've already proven you because you've already proven you can survive it. You stop needing approval because you built your identity in the fight, not in the applause. You gotta change your perspective on falling. Stop looking at it like shame. Stop looking at it like weakness. Falling is part of the process. You're not falling because you're weak. You're falling because you're in motion. You're trying. You're taking risks. And every time you rise, you're gathering lessons, scars, wisdom, all the things you need to lead, to inspire, to dominate your purpose. The rise doesn't always look glorious. Sometimes it's slow. Sometimes it's ugly. Sometimes you're crawling back with tears in your eyes, fighting through doubt, through criticism, through fatigue. But the important thing is that you rise, that you make the decision that no matter what, you're not gonna let the fall define your future. You're going to get up one more time, then life knocks you down. You can't let the voice in your head talk you out of your comeback. You can't let temporary failure write a permanent ending. You've come too far. You've survived too much. You've grown through too many storms to stay on the floor now. The world may have counted you out, but you better not count yourself out. You've got one job. Get up. Get up every single time. Because every time you rise, you prove to yourself, into the world, that you were built for more than the fall. There's power in repetition. Every rise adds to your strength. Every time you refuse to quit, you're training your spirit, your mindset, your destiny. This is how warriors are made, through the fall and the rise. Not once, not twice, but every time. Fall 7 times, rise 8. Fall 10 times, rise 11. You keep rising until the fall doesn't break you. It builds you. You keep asking yourself, can I really do this? You look around at everything coming at you. The pressure, the stress, the responsibilities, the failures, the past. And you start to question whether you have what it takes. Well, let me tell you something. You wouldn't be in a storm if you weren't built for it. Life doesn't put weight on those who can't carry it. You weren't made to break. You were made to break. You were made to build. You're not here by accident. You were built for this. The problem is you've been letting your feelings talk louder than your facts. You feel tired. You feel overwhelmed. You feel small, but those feelings are temporary. They're not the truth. The truth is there's something inside you that doesn't quit, something that doesn't fold, something that's been forged through pain, through hardship, through rejection. That something is your grit, your resilience. It's stronger than whatever's trying to break you right now. You think your past disqualifies you. You think the mistakes, the shame, the setbacks, you think that means you're not ready? No, that means you're exactly who's qualified because you've been through some stuff. You've been tested and you're still standing. Most people would have quit already. Most people would have given up. But you didn't, even when you doubted yourself, even when no one else believed. You kept going. That's not weakness. That's proof. Proof that you're built different. See, being built for this doesn't mean you're always confident. It doesn't mean you never get scared. It doesn't mean you never get scared. It means you endure. It means you get knocked down and still look up. It means that even when you feel like giving up, something inside you says, not yet. Built for this means you were designed to handle the pressure, to grow under the weight, to thrive in the chaos. You don't run from the fire. You walk through it because that's where your purpose is forged. Some of you forgot who you are. You let people, problems, and pain talk you out of your identity. You let your environment shape your vision instead of your vision shaping your environment. But deep down, you know the truth. You were born with something this world didn't give you, and it can't take it away. That gift, that vision, that drive is not random. It's not random. It's your assignment. It comes with storms. It comes with tests. It comes with seasons of silence where it feels like nothing's working. But that doesn't mean you're not built for it. It means you're being built for it. You ever wonder why your journey's been so hard? Why nothing ever comes easy for you? It's because the level you're going to requires a foundation that can't be shaken. And that kind of foundation, that kind of strength, it only comes from struggle. You can't microwave greatness. You can't rush character. You can't skip the process. The pain is the preparation. The pressure is the shaping. And if it's heavy right now, it's because what you're carrying is worth it. You're not just built to survive. You're built to lead, built to rise, built to inspire. Somebody's watching you right now, waiting to see if you're going to fold, waiting to see if you're going to crumble. When you show them that you can still move forward, even with tears in your eyes, even when your hands are shaking, you give them permission to rise too. You're not just built for your journey. You're built to pull others through there. You've already been through worse. Think about it. You've already made it through days you thought would break you. You've already come through storms you didn't think you'd survive. You're stronger now, wiser, sharper. So why would you stop here? Why would you doubt yourself now? Everything you need is already inside you. You just have to use it. Trust it. Activate it. You don't need another motivation video. You don't need permission. You just need to move. Show up. Go again. Because built for this doesn't mean perfect. It means relentless. Every scar you've earned, every loss you've taken, every trial you faced, that was construction. Life wasn't trying to crush you. It was trying to carve out the leader, the warrior, the creator inside of you. It was stripping away the doubt, the fear, the ego, the excuses. You think it was pain. It was purpose. You think it was failure. It was formation. You've been being shaped this whole time. Not broken, built. So when the storm shows up again, and it will, I need you to remember this. You're not weak for struggling. You're not soft for feeling. But you are responsible for rising. And you will. Because you were built for this, not by luck, not by chance, by design. Too many people are sitting around waiting. waiting for the timing to feel right, waiting for the motivation to show up, waiting until they have more money, more support, more clarity. But let me tell you something. If you keep waiting for perfect condition, you'll be waiting forever. Life doesn't hand you ideal circumstances. It hands you opportunities disguised as chaos. And while you're busy waiting, someone else is out there grinding, building, creating, starting. With less than what you got right now. You've got to understand, success doesn't care about your comfort zone. Your dream doesn't care if you're ready. It doesn't care if you're scared. It doesn't care if the weather is right or your schedule is open. It's not going to show up with a perfect invitation and a spotlight. If you want it, you got to go get it right now with what you have. Stop waiting. Start moving. Some of y'all are waiting on clarity. You want to see every step before you take the first one. But success doesn't work like GPS. You don't get the whole map, you get the next step. And you only get that step after you move. Clarity doesn't come from sitting still, it comes from action. You don't figure it all out in your head, you figure it out on the battlefield. In the process, in the grind, you learn while doing, not before. Others are waiting for confidence. You think you need to feel powerful before you move. But confidence isn't what makes you move. Movement is what creates confidence. You build it step by step, rep by rep, action by action. You get stronger by doing what scares you. You get braver by walking through the doubt. Waiting to feel ready is the enemy of progress. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be willing. Some are waiting for support. You're sitting around thinking, if only they believe in me, if only someone would invest in me, if only they saw my potential. But listen, you have to believe in you before anyone else does. Don't expect people to invest in something you haven't built yet. Don't expect validation for a dream you're not even moving toward. You've got to show them, not tell them, not tell them. Let your actions speak so loud they have no choice but to believe. But that starts when you stop waiting for others and start leading yourself. Conditions will never be perfect. You will never feel 100% ready. Life will always have problems. Your schedule will always be full. There will always be fear. There will always be doubt. But the people who make it, they move anyway. They show up. They take the first step. Even when it's dark, they bet on themselves. Not because it's easy, because it's necessary. They've learned that if they don't move now, the moment might pass. And they're not willing to let their future die in the waiting room of a someday. Let me be real with you. You've already wasted too much time. You've already talked yourself out of too many blessings. You've already convinced yourself to wait long enough. This is your time. This is your moment. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're done letting the perfect control your destiny. The people who win aren't the most talented. They're the most consistent, the most committed. The ones who stop negotiating with their excuses and started. And guess what? When you move with what you got, something amazing happens. You grow, you learn, doors open, momentum builds. You meet people, you fail and get back up. You stretch your capacity, you expand. But none of that happens if you sit still waiting for the stars to align. The universe doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards execution. Not someday, now. When you look at the greats, it wasn't perfect when they started. Oprah didn't have the best job of voice in the room. Kobe didn't start in the NBA as the best. They was homeless, but they moved anyway. They didn't wait to feel like giants. They acted like it before anyone saw them that way. They started speaking, training, grinding, and the world followed. They created momentum in imperfect condition. You gotta ask yourself, how bad do you really want it? Because if you really want it, you'll stop making excuses and start making moves. If it's your dream, then act like it. Treat it like it matters. Stop scrolling, stop talking, stop waiting. Do something, anything that moves you 1 inch closer to it today. 1 inch is better than 0. One messy step is better than a million clean ideas with no action behind them. You want to change your life, then you need to start now. Not next year, not next month, not after the holidays, not when you feel motivated. Now, with your anxiety, with your fear, with the bills unpaid, with the schedule full, with no audience, with no guarantee. Start now and don't look back. Because the only thing more painful than failing is looking back and realizing you never tried. You think the pain you went through was random? You think the heartbreak, the loss, the rejection, the struggle, all of it just happened for no reason? No, that pain wasn't pointless. It wasn't a punishment. It was preparation. Your pain has a purpose. You didn't go through what you went through just to survive. You went through it to grow, to learn, and eventually to lead. See, most people want the glory without the grind. They want the reward without the resistance, but life doesn't work like that. The most powerful version of you isn't found in your comfort. It's found in your pain. The broken moments, the sleepless nights, the tears, the questions, the silence. That's where strength is born. That's where faith is forged. You want to know who you really are? Don't look at your wins. Look at what you lived through. Look at the fire you walked through and came out the other side stronger. Some of the most important lessons you'll ever learn won't come from a book or a podcast. They'll come from the pain you didn't ask for, the betrayal that cut deep, the moment you were overlooked, underestimated, or cast aside. That's where resilience is built. That's where your character gets sculpted. That's where you learn what you're really made of. You don't grow through everything going right. You grow when everything goes wrong and you still don't quit. You've got to stop resenting your pain and start respecting it. Stop running from it and stop reading it. It's trying to tell you something. It's shaping you into someone who can carry the weight of your purpose. That heartbreak, it taught you to love yourself first. That loss, it taught you to value every moment. That failure, it taught you how to rise, that rock bottom. It built the foundation for your comeback. But here's the thing. Pain can either be your prison or your platform. It can trap you or it can teach you. It can break you down or it can build you up. The choice is yours. Some people go through pain and stay stuck in it forever. They let it define them. They replay it like a broken record. But the greats, the ones who change the world, they rise from it, they use it as fuel. They say, this happened to me, but it won't stop me. It won't stop me. It will launch me. And don't you dare think you went through it for nothing. You didn't survive just to sit still. You didn't suffer just to stay silent. Somebody out there is going through the same thing you made it out of. And they need your voice. They need your story. They need your story. They need your strength. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need to be real. To show them that it's possible. That healing is possible. That purpose can be born out of pain. You want to be great? Then you have to own your story. Every part of it. Not just the wins, not just the highlights, but the dark chapters too. Because that's where your credibility comes from. That's what makes your success real. That's what makes your words hit harder. Nobody connects to perfection. They connect to pain that turned into power. When you stop hiding what hurt you and start using it, that's when you become unstoppable. Think about a seed. Before it can grow, it has to be buried in darkness. It has to crack open. It has to break. That's you. You went through the dirt. You were pressed. You were broken, but not to be destroyed. To grow. You were becoming. You were transforming. And now you're rising. But the only way you got there is through the pain. So don't curse the struggle. Thank it, because it woke something up in you. It made you fierce. It made you hungry. It made you grateful. The old, you couldn't carry the vision you've been given. The old, you would have quit by now. But the pain carved out a new version of you. One that's focused. One that's clear. One that's powerful. And yet still hurts sometimes. You'll still have days where the weight feels heavy. But now you know the pain didn't come to stay. It came to shape. And if you let it, if you trust it, it will take you places you never imagined. It will introduce you to the highest version of yourself, because pain is the great teacher. It doesn't speak in comfort. It speaks in fire. But if you listen, if you really listen, it will show you the way. It will turn your mess into your mission, your scars into your story, your losses into your lessons, your wounds into your wisdom. That's the purpose. That's the point. You didn't just survive the pain. You became through the pain. Now go show the world what it created. You used to believe. You used to wake up with that fire in your belly, that light in your eyes. You used to walk like you knew you were born for something greater. But somewhere along the way, life hit you hard. You gave it your all, and it still didn't work out. You trusted people who let you down. You made plans that fell apart. You got your hopes up, and they came crashing down. Now you're scared to believe again. You're scared to want too much, to dream too big, because you don't want to feel that pain again. But let me tell you something. Belief is not a luxury. It's a requirement. You can't win if you don't believe you can. You can't rise if you've already convinced yourself you're supposed to stay low. You can't fight if you've already surrendered in your mind. You gotta believe again. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Because your purpose is still alive. Because your future is still waiting. Because the version of you that you were born to be is not gonna show up while you sit in fear. If you've already surrendered in your mind. You gotta believe again. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Because your purpose is still alive. Because your future is still waiting. Because the version of you that you were born to be is not gonna show up while you sit in fear. You think you're protecting yourself by not believing, but really, you're hurting yourself. You think if you lower your expectations, it won't hurt when things don't work out. But all it does is rob you of the strength and energy you need to make them happen. You can't play small and expect to win big. You can't live in doubt and expect breakthrough. Faith isn't about guarantees. It's about refusal. Refusing to let your past write your future. Refusing to let disappointment keep you stuck. Refusing to settle for a life that's less than what you're capable of living. You've been in survival mode for too long, just getting by. Just making it through. And I get it. You've been through some things, but that season doesn't have to define you. You don't have to stay in that mindset. You can shift. You can choose to rise. You can choose to believe again. Not in the fantasy, not in some fairy tale, but in yourself. In your ability to bounce back. In your power to rebuild. In the truth that no matter what happened yesterday, you still have today. And that means hope. Let's be real. You're not here by accident. You didn't survive everything you've been through just to coast. You didn't cry those tears, fight those battles, and wake up every day despite the pain just to give up now. There's a reason you're still standing, a reason you woke up this morning, a reason your heart is still beating. You still have work to do. You still have purpose. But you'll never move in that purpose until you believe again. Belief is a muscle. If you stop using it, it gets weak. But if you feed it, if you train it, it comes back stronger. You gotta start speaking life again. Start visualizing your goals again. Start moving like it's already done. Gotta water that dream again. Even if it feels like nothing's growing yet, you gotta step into that room like you belong there. Walk into that opportunity like it's yours. Show up for your life like you mean it. And listen, belief doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means you move anyway. It means you act in faith, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. It means you keep pushing even when no one is clapping. When no one is calling your name, when it feels like no progress is being made. That's real belief. Belief says, I don't need the evidence to move. I am the evidence. Belief said, even if I fail again, I'll still rise. You've been giving your energy to doubt long enough. Doubt has never paid your bills. Doubt has never brought you peace. Doubt has never given you momentum, but belief has moved mountains. Belief has opened doors. Belief has brought people from poverty to power, from pain to purpose. It's time you remembered who you are. It's time you stopped replaying what went wrong and started creating what's possible. Well, you've got to forgive yourself for the times you gave up, for the moments you didn't believe. That's okay. You're human, but you don't have to stay there. You can get back up. You can try again. You can step forward. Even if your legs are shaking, you got what it takes. You always have. You just have to believe it again, even if it's just a spark. That's enough to start a fire. And once you take that first step, momentum will meet you. Nobody else can do this for you. You got to look in the mirror and say, I still believe. Say it until it sinks in. Say it until your actions align. Say it until your future opens up. Because the truth is, the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is belief. You keep looking outside yourself for the answer, for the breakthrough, for someone to come save you. But what if I told you that everything you need to succeed, to rise, to become everything you were born to be is already inside you? That the strength, the drive, the discipline, the resilience, the fire has been in you this entire time. You're not missing anything. You're not waiting on anything. You are already equipped. You were built for this. You see, the world will try to convince you that you're not enough. That you need more time, more money, more support, more resources, more credentials, that you're too broken, too late, too flawed to become great. But that's a lie. The truth is, you've already got what it takes. That dream in your heart is there because you have the ability to build it. That vision you see, you wouldn't even be able to see it if you didn't have the tools to bring it to life. You weren't born empty. You were born full of purpose, full of power, full of potential. But you've let life convince you otherwise. You've let the failure talk louder than your faith. You've let the rejection scream louder than your gift. You've been so focused on what you lack that you've forgotten what you carry. You don't need more validation. You don't need anyone else to co-sign your dream. You just need to look inside and activate what's already there. Every challenge you faced has trained you. Every setback has strengthened you. Every disappointment has deepened you. You may not have realized it, but every tear, every trial, every time you had to get up when no one was watching, it was all preparing you. Life was never trying to stop you. It was shaping you, forging you into someone capable of more. But if you keep believing the lie that you are not ready, you'll never find out just how powerful you really are. Let me be real with you. There's no magic coming. No perfect moment, no genie in a bottle. The help you're waiting for might never show up. But that's okay, because you are your help. You are your solution. You are the answer to your own prayer. You are the warrior, the leader, the builder, the vision. Everything you need to climb that mountain, to finish that project, to launch that dream, it's already in you. What's missing isn't capability. It's belief. It's confidence. It's trust in your own voice. You got to stop outsourcing your power to other people. Stop waiting for applause, for permission, for the green light. Give yourself the green light. You don't need someone to tell you you're qualified. You qualify. You qualify yourself every time you get up, every time you push forward, every time you do the work, even when nobody's watching. Too many of you are sleeping on your own greatness because you're comparing yourself to somebody else's highlight reel. You're measuring your worth based on what they have instead of what's been planted inside of you. But you're not them. You're you, and that's your superpower, your story, your scars, your fire. That's what makes you unstoppable. You don't need to be a copy. You were born to be a force. You survived too much to doubt yourself now. You've come through too much pain, too many closed doors, too many dark seasons to pretend like you're weak. You're not weak. You're wise. You're not empty. You're empowered. You're not behind. You're becoming exactly who you need to be to carry the weight of the blessing that's on the way. But you can't step into it until you realize it was never about what's around you. It was always about what's within you. So stop waiting. Stop stalling. Stop making excuses. You've got the mind. You've got the heart. You've got the story. Now put it to work. Put it into action. Wake up every day and remind yourself, I've got this. Not because it's easy, not because it's handed to me, but because I've decided that I will not let this world tell me what I'm not. I know who I am. I know what I carry, and I refuse to die full. I'm going to pour every ounce of my potential into this life because it's mine, and I've only got one shot. Everything you need is already inside you. You just have to unleash it. Not next year, not when it's convenient. Right now, you were born for this. Now act like it. You've come too far. You've been through too much. You've cried too many nights. You've sacrificed too many mornings. You've had to fight through too many seasons of silence, loneliness, and uncertainty to throw it all away now. You didn't survive what tried to break you just to break yourself. You didn't come this far to quit. You came this far to finish what you started, to become everything they said you couldn't be, to rise into the version of yourself that only pain could shape. Let's be clear. If quitting was an option, you would have done it already when life hit you the hardest. When life hit you the hardest. When you were broke, mentally and physically. When nobody called, nobody helped, nobody checked in. You didn't quit then. So why now? Why would you stop when you're this close? The breakthrough you've been praying for, it's not down the road, it's around the corner. But you're around the corner, but you got to keep walking. Even when it hurts, even when you're tired, especially when it's hard, that's when it matters most. You didn't build all this just to tear it down. You didn't invest all these hours, all these sleepless nights, all these sacrifices just to walk away. No, you're too invested. You put in the time, you planted the seed. Now it's harvest season, but only if you don't quit. See, the blessing comes after the breaking. The reward comes after the resistance. There's no greatness without grind, and there's no finish line if you stop halfway. You're tired. I get it. But being tired doesn't mean you're done. It just means you're human. Let that sink in. Even warriors get weary. Even champions get worn out. But what separates them is that they rest. They don't quit. They take a breath. They gather their strength, and they get back to work. You have to remind yourself why you started. You didn't wake up and say, I want to be average. No, you had a vision, a fire, a purpose. And that purpose hasn't expired just because the path got rough. Quitting doesn't end the pain. It extends it because now you've got to live with the weight of what you could have been. Now you carry the question, what if I had just pushed a little longer? That's a pain deeper than failure. That's a pain that lingers. You'll never know what you were capable of if you stop now, but if you keep going, if you press through the doubt, the delay, the discouragement, you give yourself the chance to see what's on the other side. You've overcome too much to give up now. Remember that time when you thought it was over, but you found a way when the door slammed shut, but you built your own door. When they said it was impossible, but you kept showing up anyway, that wasn't luck. That was you. That was the power inside you rising up. And that same strength, that same resolve, it's still in you right now. You don't need perfect conditions to finish. You need commitment. The kind that says, even if I crawl across the finish line, I'm gonna finish. The kind that says, I didn't come this far to be average. I came to be legendary. That's the mindset. That's the shift. You're not just here to survive life. You're here to dominate it, to live full and die empty, to leave nothing on the table. And that can only happen if you refuse to quit. Let me ask you something. What if your next decision is the one that changes everything? What if the next door you knock on is the one that opens? What if the next piece of content you create goes viral? What if the next meeting leads to a breakthrough? But you'll never know if you quit now. Every minute you keep going is 1 minute closer to the moment that flips your whole life. So stop second guessing. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect time is now. And listen, even if nobody believes in you, you've got to believe in you. Even if no one claps, you've got to keep moving like the world is watching, because eventually the world will watch. And they'll say you came out of nowhere. Yes. But you'll know you didn't come out of nowhere. You came out of grit, out of grind, out of those lonely nights when quitting whispered in your ear and you said, not today. That's how greatness is born. So this is your reminder, your wake-up call, your fire. You didn't come this far to doubt yourself. You didn't come this far to play small. You didn't come this far to fold. You came this far because something inside of you knows there's more growth, more impact, more purpose. And that amore, it doesn't come to those who sit down when it's hard. It comes to those who stand back up. You've already made it through the worst days of your life, and you're still here, still breathing, still fighting. So finish. Don't pause. Don't rewind. Don't retreat. Finish. Because the real you, the powerful, unstoppable, extraordinary version of you, they're waiting on the other side of this moment. I know you're hurting. I know there are nights when the weight is so heavy, it feels like you're suffocating. Days when you smile in public, but you're screaming inside. Moments when you ask, when it feels like life just keeps hitting you and never letting up. But I'm telling you, it's not random. It's not wasted. Your pain has a purpose. Everything you've gone through is not just part of your story, it's part of your assignment. That betrayal you experienced, that broke you, but it also woke you. That failure that made you question your worth, it wasn't there to end you. It was there to introduce you to the fighter inside. That loss that crushed you, it also carved out a depth in your soul that comfort alone couldn't never have created. Pain refines us. It strips us down to what's real. You don't find purpose in the easy days. You find it in the struggle. You find it in the stretch. You find it when you're on your knees. And the only option is to rise or stay broken. People want power without pressure, but that's not how greatness works. Diamonds don't form in comfort. They form under pressure. Steel doesn't get strong until it's been forged by fire. You want to be strong? You want to walk in purpose? Then don't just go through the pain. Grow through the pain. Feel it. Acknowledge it. But then use it. Turn into fuel. Turn it into drive. Turn it into destiny. Because the very thing that tried to destroy you may be the thing that prepares you to deliver someone else. Some of you were abused, abandoned, misunderstood. And you've been carrying that weight like it's your identity. But let me tell you, what happened to you is not who you are. It shaped you, yes, but it doesn't define you unless you let it. You don't have to stay stuck in your story. You can rewrite it. You can flip the pain into power. You can take what broke you and build purpose with it. Because there's someone out there right now who's going through what you went through, and they need to hear that you made it. Your pain can become someone else's survival guide. But only if you rise. Only if you choose not to bury it, not to numb it, but to own it, stand in it, speak from it. That pain is a tool. You think the tears disqualify you. No, they qualify you because people don't connect to perfection. They connect to the real, the raw, the redeemed. Your wounds can become windows. Only if you stop running and start embracing the lesson. You keep asking God to use you, but you don't want to go through what's necessary to be usable. You want platform without pain. You want influence without being broken. But let me tell you, it's the brokenness that gives your voice weight. It's the pain that gives your purpose credibility. You can't take people where you haven't been. You can't lead people out of the valley if you've never walked through one yourself. Your scars speak louder than your trophies ever will. And don't think for a second that you're alone in your suffering. We all carry something. Some carry grief. Some carry shame. Some carry regret. But the ones who walk in power are the ones who choose to heal, not hide, to confront, not collapse, to grow, not give up. Because when you push through the pain, you don't just change your life, you change the lives around you. You become a living testimony that is possible, that healing is possible, that rising is possible, that becoming whole again, even after everything you've lost. It's possible. You've been looking at your pain like it's punishment, but it's really preparation. You're being shaped for something bigger than you imagine. That heartbreak, it taught you how to love yourself. That disappointment, it taught you how to depend on your vision. That season of isolation, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. You had to be pulled away from some people so you could finally hear your calling. You got to stop asking why it happened and start asking, what is it teaching me? What strength is being developed? What lesson is being revealed? What calling is being uncovered? Because if you look at your pain long enough, you'll see that it's not just hurting you, it's transforming you. It's making you wiser, stronger, more compassionate, more resilient. It's turning you into someone who doesn't just survive, you inspire. So no, the pain isn't fair. It's not easy. But it's worth it if you refuse to let it break you. If you decide right now that you won't waste it, that you'll own it, that you'll build with it. Because everything you've been through, every failure, every sleepless night is part of a bigger picture. And when you zoom out, when you look back from the place of victory, you'll realize that none of it was for nothing. It was necessary. Because your pain was never the end. It was the beginning of your